Hello, everybody. This is Fernando for the latest Godzilla on This Day podcast. Well, a bit of a sad one today because on this date, back in 2014, it marked a day where famed actor and comedian Robin Williams basically committed suicide back again in 2014. So let's go ahead and let's talk about all the information associated with this very sad event. First off, I'm a big Robin Williams fan. I've loved his movies for a long time. I think the first movie I ever saw him in was Mrs. Doubtfire, and I just became a fan of his ever since. I've seen most all of his movies. He even does, of course, some of the drama movies as well. I haven't seen any of his earlier stuff, like before Mrs. Doubtfire, like Good Morning Vietnam, or like Mork and Mindy, the TV show that he was on. But I have seen some of the other stuff afterward. Aladdin, I'm a huge fan of that. Happy Feet as well, big fan. I've even seen the Fisher King, which was one of his more serious turns too. But by far, my favorite movie of all of his is one of his most underrated ones. To this day, it's a cult favorite. I still don't know why people don't love it any more than it should have. But it's called, of course, Toys. This is the one that came out back in the 90s or so, and it was just so off-putting. It was so different, so original from anything else anyone had seen before that people didn't know what to make of it. But it's one of those movies where afterward it gained a life of its own, and to this day it's become a cult favorite. But yes, if you haven't had a chance to see it, I highly recommend it. You will see Robin Williams in his prime in this movie. It's basically all him, always on, showcasing one of the most original, bizarre, surreal, just absolutely imaginary, fantastic films visually as well that I have seen in a long time. It's very hard to watch it now, knowing essentially what he did afterward in terms of his suicide. But yes, this was a really good movie. But yes, today, back in 2014, he essentially committed suicide. Apparently this was because he was suffering not only from severe depression, which is actually unheard of in the world of comedians, as you've seen that famous montage of the comedian that has on the painted smile, but at the same time they had a sad face. That's not there for a reason. Like, that's not there just out of the blue. A lot of comedians, you start hearing about them always playing on the road, always trying to make people laugh because inside they're suffering a lot. So it was the case with him. And then also he was experiencing early stages of Parkinson's disease. The way the story goes is apparently he was diagnosed earlier, a couple of years beforehand, with this, and he was trying to fight every single way for it. Like, he was trying to find make sure that it didn't impact him as much later on. But of course, Parkinson's is one of those diseases that eventually it overtakes everyone, and I'm guessing that he knew that it was only going to be up to a certain point before, in his case, he would be gone. So that's why he essentially committed suicide. And the way that goes, it's crazy. But he apparently went into some kind of doorway, closet door, whatever was the case, and then just made a makeshift noose with, was it either a tie or was it a belt? I'm trying to remember one of those two. But yes, that's essentially how he was found by everyone, or by somebody later on that was checking up on him. But yes, today marks the sad occasion with regards to Robin Williams and his suicide. What's crazy too is that he afterward there was a meme, a video that appeared where he was talking about suicide, and he something along those lines where he was stating that suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem, something like that. And now looking back at it, it makes you wonder how much of that was he truly believing and how much of it was a joke. It's always hard to tell, of course, with comedians, but with regards to that video, that small little snippet definitely took off afterwards. But if there's one good thing after all this, is that his legacy still continues to this day with the films that he has. Everyone can check out his catalog now. Anybody can do so. There's even stories now that still come out with regards to him and the way that he was just an amazing person that people were around. It's quite rare in in the world of Hollywood, to be around people that are actually, good, that treat people good, that act well around others, and he was one of those people that did so. So it's very rare to run across anybody that would create some kind of bad remarks about him. No, in this case, he was someone that definitely had a lot of good experiences around people. But that's it. That's pretty much it for today's Godzilla on This Day podcast. I'd be interested to hear if anyone has anything like that. They have maybe an experience with him. Maybe they ran into him. Anybody out there, let's say you ran into him on the street, or maybe you saw him in person. Something along those lines. That'd be really, really great to hear. So, alright, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.